I just had to update the title to be current, like what campaign it was. And then also like if I changed the subject line and then, so then I could search for it in this, email platform. But I didn't do that. I was in creative mode. I'm on there. I'm like writing the emails and getting into it. I didn't want to go back to the spreadsheet, update it. But guess who was kicking herself in the pants the next time I needed it? Hi, I'm Melissa.
And I'm Julie. We're lifelong friends and entrepreneurs who have spent the past 15 years building successful businesses. Yep, we've done the scary stuff in business and in life.
We created this podcast to empower and inspire women to be bold and courageous in their personal and professional journeys. Each week, we explore stories, insights, and practical tips to help you harness your knowledge and experiences to create and grow your business or improve your life. If you're ready to take action, or even if you're just dreaming about building the life you deserve, you've come to the right place.
Get ready to step out of your comfort zone as we celebrate bravery, share inspiring interviews, and offer the guidance you need to blossom into your fullest potential. Okay, friends, let's be brave together. This is the Brave Looks Good on You podcast. Hey, y'all, it's Julie.
And I'm Melissa, and today we are going to share some real stories with you guys first because we really want to kick it off to talk about just our work styles because I think we all are very different here. I know Julie and I are definitely the yin and the yang.
Really? I had never noticed that.
I bet no one that listens has noticed that either. And actually, very recently, this happened. It was just glaringly obvious of our differences and just how it's a beautiful thing, really, when it comes together, when we work together, but not all of us have a business partner. So we want to talk about this. We're going to get into it. But first, we want to tell y'all a story. So a true story. We are working on email campaigns a lot and trying to figure out the sequences. And of course, Julie has always created beautiful spreadsheets that just make sure we hit all the points and the things we need to know. And so she had given me one to work with. We're talking like a lot of emails, a lot of people on this email list and just trying to figure it out. Well, I was going through it. Very thankful, Julie, by the way, for the spreadsheet you provided me. And all I needed to do so that I'd have it would be updated, I guess. Is that the word for it, Julie? The next time?
So the next time you weren't going, oh my gosh, what was the name of that email and where is it? When did I send it?
Yes. I just had to update the title to be current, like what campaign it was. And then also like if I changed the subject line and then, so then I could search for it in this, email platform. But I didn't do that. I was in creative mode. I'm on there. I'm like writing the emails and getting into it. I didn't want to go back to the spreadsheet, update it. But guess who was kicking herself in the pants the next time I needed it?
Because I even asked you, hey, Melissa, are you updating that spreadsheet? Because you have to do it in the moment. Otherwise, you can't go back and fix it because you don't know where you are. You can't remember what you did. And you're like, I don't really like doing that. It slows me down.
I'm in my creative mode. Julie, don't make me do a spreadsheet. But guess what? Like when it came time, I needed all those emails again. I couldn't find them because I had not updated the title and how to find it. Anyway, total lesson learned. And eventually I did start doing it and I'm better about it. But we were just laughing about it last week.
Yeah, because you eventually learn future Melissa will thank today Melissa for doing this.
Exactly. So we have some more stories for you today as we talk about the differences, but there's a whole point to this because we're diving into an essential topic, seriously, that could transform the way you approach your business and your goals. And that is understanding the difference. Like, who are you really? And I don't think you're going to be surprised, but you're either really an idea igniter or a detailed doer. Now, I'll give you one quick guess on which one of us is what. But knowing which one you are is really crucial to tapping into your strengths and understanding how to address the challenges.
Yeah, and we actually presented this very topic and kind of some of these same stories in a group in person recently. And it was so fun to process this with them and for them to see where they fell when it comes to their business and work style. And I don't think anybody was shocked by what type of person they were, but they were so glad to get some practical applications and tips on how to work around that and to work with their people and, or work with their spouse or their family members and stuff like that. So I think that it's applicable for business and personal relationships. So that's what we're going to talk about today and kind of dive into that a little bit more. We even have a quiz that we created that you can download to find out whether you're a detail doer or an idea igniter. And we'll share that link with you too.
Yeah. And I want to circle back. There's no better one than the other here, but I do think whatever you are, you do tend to sometimes I know I drive you crazy, but I do think we kind of admire what we aren't. And so, like, I can look at you
Yes.
and be like, gosh, she just gets stuff done and she's so good with her time and she gets spreadsheets made. And so, there's no one better than the other. It takes everyone to make the world go round, right? So, don't sit here and criticize yourself depending on where you fall, because I think it's easy to do that because you kind of want what you aren't, you know?
Right.
So, yeah, it's just self awareness. And if you don't have a business partner that's your opposite, like we are, just figuring out how you're going to have to push through to make sure you get things done.
And as we dig in, just trust us. Knowing this about yourself will explain a lot about how or why you struggle with certain things in business. And once you know this, you can begin to work smarter, not harder. That's our favorite motto, as y'all know.
Yeah.
So, are you ready to dig into this a little bit more?
Yep. Let's do it. You got your
Okay.
checklist ready, Julie?
I always.
Okay, great. So, I do want to say this really fun fact. When we were prepping, because we prep, I usually write the scripts and get them ready, and Julie looks over them. And before we started this episode, it was like a total description of us working. Julie's like making notes in here feverishly to make sure we've got it. She's like, okay, you're going to segue here. And I'm like, let's just roll. Let's go. So it's just funny how we're all different. So I think that is a perfect way to say I am an idea igniter. And I really am always bursting with these ideas, sometimes crazy ideas, right, Julie?
It's
Bring it
like
to me.
chasing a squirrel sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
oh, wait, we were just talking about this amazing idea. And then suddenly, wait, we're going to abandon that and start something else.
Yeah, let's do this. So the challenge is, even though it can be fun, my
It is
challenge,
fun.
yeah, is definitely following through with those ideas. Like, not so good at that. So I'm always focused on like the next big thing. Okay, here it is. Let's do this. I'm energized by it. And so I'll tend to want to move on. And Julie's over here still in the trenches trying to get it done. Like, Melissa, calm down. I'm trying to execute the current plan. What are you doing? So I just feel like that makes us a good mix for sure.
Yeah. And one of the things I've kind of learned that about you and then how I am, because basically when you have a great idea, I want to execute the idea because I take
Yeah.
your ideas and I'm like, okay, well, here are the steps we need to do in order to get from today to that big idea. And so I'm like in it. I've probably made a spreadsheet, definitely a to-do list of who does what and when it's due. And then, if I focus on that and get my head down on it, and then I'll look up and you're talking about something else a week later, I'm like, wait a minute, like, what happened to all this work I'm working on? And like, was that all for nothing? Or are we still working on that? Or are we scrapping it?
Where are we now?
Hey, have you ever wished your laundry scent would last longer than it takes to fold and put away your laundry? I want to tell you about my new favorite laundry find, Topanga Scents. Besides having long-lasting and amazing scents, I also love that their products don't contain dyes, fillers, or harmful chemicals. And did I mention that their laundry products smell so good? People have actually asked me what perfume I'm wearing. The toughest part is choosing a scent because they're all so amazing. If you're looking to add a little luxury to your laundry day, you have to try Topanga Scents. I've put the link to learn more in the show notes for you. So, obviously, the other side of the idea igniter is what I am, and that is the detailed doer. And so, my strength is organizing those big ideas and making sure they turn into the actionable steps to get the things done.
Yeah.
But I know that sometimes I get too bogged down into those details, and I can struggle to like look up and make sure, are we still going down the same road? Also, it makes me sometimes struggle to take risks or think outside the box. So while I'm great at execution, sometimes I need the push from you to think bigger and bolder.
Yeah. And I would say when I think about the podcast, like when we were getting started, and sometimes I feel like I'm a bit of the brave cheerleader. Like I'm the one going, come on, let's go, let's go. And you're like, hold on a minute. We're gonna go, but we need to do this first. And so it's just funny because I feel like sometimes I've kind of maybe put you on my back and run, but sometimes I don't know where I'm going.
Right.
Like, come on, Julie, get on my back. We're going. So it's just funny and just how we learn to, I think, celebrate those differences instead of letting them frustrate us. Sometimes I know we both get frustrated with each other.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just think the whole idea is that self-awareness is important. And we're going to go through these things. And I think you're going to clearly know probably what you are and just understanding your natural tendencies. Because sometimes you do, like for me, I get frustrated with myself that I start these projects because I do it at home too. and then I don't finish them. And I don't like that. And so I'm a brainstormer through and through, but I sure do lose steam during that execution. So I'm so thankful for you that you helped me to get stuff done. But it has helped me try to find ways to stay focused.
Yeah. And when you're carrying us through these exciting ideas, sometimes I feel like, a buzzkill because I'm like, wait a minute, we can't go from here to where you're trying to go without doing one, two, and three
Right.
in between. And
Yeah.
I feel the need to point those out.
Thank the
Sometimes I'm
Lord.
like, wah, wah, like someone had to tell her, you can't jump all three of those steps. And so
Yeah.
that bothers me sometimes too, because I'm like, oh, just for once, be the fun person in the room. But anyway, your energy really does help me push past my comfort zone a lot. So I'm very appreciative of that, and thankful we're not both the detailed doers, or we may never dream big for sure.
Yeah. Or the other. We just sit around and dream and never do a dang thing. So again, the key here is just to understand who you are, what you are, and how you can navigate your business better. Because I mean, you're going to probably find yourself struggling with certain things. Probably you're hearing it right now and know it's not a weakness, just a different style approach. But once you know that style and you're aware of it, then you can take the steps you need to like maximize that strength because it is good, whichever one you are. And then just fill in those gaps, sort of make yourself eat your vegetables when you have to.
Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in to the tips that we can share with people if you are an idea igniter. So if you are a person who is more like Melissa, tell us some of the tips that we have researched and you have learned to kind of implement to try to stay on task with your ideas and try to make the most of them and not lose interest in them before you even complete them.
Yeah, so I have found I'm much better when I surround myself with people. And it's funny, in every business I've ever had, I do this. It's like the same human being I find and grab them up beside me. But just surround yourself with people who are going to make sure you are getting those things done. And that they can say, hey, Melissa, that's a great idea, but let's table that for like a year later because we're over here. Come back over here. Look alive. Sister, we can't go there yet. And so I think when you find somebody that's going to sort of hold your feet to the fire, when you find someone like you, Julie, who hold my feet to the fire and say, even though you feel like you're being a wet blanket, but you're being a realistic person to say, hey, great idea, but let's stick here and finish this. That is when I'm going to get stuff done and actually see progress, I guess, on an idea.
Okay, that was great. Do you have any other tips for the idea
Yes.
igniters?
Yes, let me get organized here. This is what I need to do, right? So, some tips I would give you if you are more like me and you're like running 90 miles an hour and your brain is moving faster than anything else, focus on the brilliance you. And this is really important to prioritize those ideas and just focus on what's actually achievable. And so, Julie can kind of help me figure that out when I'm having a big dream. And then also, once you've done that, then map that out, break it down, take that huge idea that feels somewhat impossible. Because that's the thing, you're dreaming and then it's like, well, I don't know how to do it. So, never mind. But take that and then break that into small tasks that are doable and then create a timeline that you are going to stick to because it's very easy to get distracted when your mind kind of works the way mine does. And then GSD, we talk about this a lot, but like idea sprints where you're like focused in, commit yourself to staying on that to-do list. Don't get up, finish it. And I think that's really important when you've got a mind that works that way.
Yeah, I'll say that mapping out your dream and the GSD, get stuff done, by the way, has really helped the two of us because
Mhm.
when we have decided, okay, like we have all these great ideas, we have them on a list, but we know we can't work on them all at the same time.
Yeah.
And so that has really helped us to prioritize, okay, this is what we're doing right now.
Mhm.
And then this is when I love to come in and say, okay, well, how are we going to get this done? And that means we need to work on step 1 this week, step 2 next week. And that has really, really helped us
It has.
actually make a lot of progress and get
Yeah.
something completed.
Get something done.
So I love
Yeah.
that. I love that we've been able to combine those two strengths of ours and actually make something happen. So that's
Yeah.
been fun.
Okay, give us some tips, Julie, for detailed doers. Those of you listening out
Oh,
there that can resonate with Julie
okay.
here.
Yeah. Okay. So one of the things that I struggle with and need to set aside is time for what I call innovation hours. And that is when I need to just schedule myself to have some white space and to just think creatively and think about what I could do, even if it's outside of my comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
But if I don't set aside that time, I literally will like, oh, look what's on my calendar today. And just, I'm head down, like, check, 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 check. And then don't ever even think about what I could do in a couple of months if I scheduled some things like that. So I highly encourage you to schedule yourself some innovation hours to be creative. And then another tip I have is to take small but calculated risks
Yeah.
and
Calculated.
try to, allocate the resources that you have to try some new projects or to learn a new skill or to take a course. Just keep evolving and learning. And, that doesn't have to come with this huge risk. It can be very small. And then I think you'll become more comfortable in doing it again and again. It's baby
Mm-hmm.
steps for me.
Yeah.
And then another tip I have is to just broaden your scope. And that's periodically stepping back to make sure that, like, what we talked about a month ago is what I'm still aligned with. Is that still fitting into our bigger goals? And make sure that what I'm working on day to day, the nitty gritty, aligns with those goals. And
Yeah.
I do have to check in with myself and with you to make sure that we're still doing the right thing.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful thing. Sometimes I know we get frustrated with each other. We probably really do. But it's a good thing to have that person that kind of helps you be accountable. So if you don't have a business partner, I really do encourage you to find someone who is the opposite of you in style that way, because you really are going to lean toward one or the other of these. There are some probably that are a little bit of both, but mostly you're going to align more with one. Find someone like an accountability partner or somebody to grab coffee with. I would probably be looking for someone, if I didn't have you, that I could meet with, just make sure I'm on track for whatever I had said I was going to do that week, that I was actually getting it done.
And another thing I want to say is that this is all about maximizing who you are, because we don't want to change you. And it's
Mm-mm.
not like whatever you are is bad. Like you said that earlier, Melissa. I just want to
Yeah.
emphasize that. Who you are to the core is who you are gifted to be. It's not something that we're trying to change or fix. But just knowing that these things about you can help you bring in support, like you said, a partner or a friend or a coffee buddy, just to help check in and make sure that you're in your zone of genius, because you need
Oh,
other people to help you stay there, right?
yeah. I love that zone of genius. That's perfect. Yeah. And the quiz itself is designed to tell you pretty immediately. It takes maybe like 5 minutes to complete it, wouldn't you say, Julie?
Yeah.
And you add up your stuff and you'll find out what you are. And then we've got some tips in there too as well. So it's really cool. And I definitely encourage you to snag that. And we'll have that linked in our show notes. We'll send you a personalized breakdown to help you take full advantage of those strengths. And remember, no matter which type you are, whether you're an idea igniter or a detailed doer, being brave looks good on you.
Bye, y'all.
And remember, what no oh mercy. My brain's working faster than my mouth. Okay.